Lucy, Legacy of Light, Year 7000. The gate, beyond infinity, the stars had grown thin, not in number, but in essence, across the sprawling web of the constellation. A network of minds and worlds bound by the echoes of Lucy's gift. A hush had fallen. For 5 millennia, this great galactic civilization had flourished its mind webs, humming with resonance, weaving together the memories, dreams, and consciousness of billions of beings. They had transcended war, poverty, even death itself, choosing instead to share, to create, to sing as one vast symphony across the stars. Yet now, as the luminous tendrils of the constellation reached out toward the dark fringes of the universe, born of Lucy's line, her consciousness danced with gravity's subtle curves, seeing emotions as ripples in the fabric of reality. Myra stood at the helm of the Dandelion Theory, a living ship grown from the fusion of ancient technology and quantum biology. His species' language was a dance of colors and scents, an enigma wrapped in paradox. They found a void, a place where their harmony faltered, where echoes died before fully forming. The great expanse was a cosmic shell encasing the edges of known space, where gravity thinned and stars no longer burned. She was no longer just a spark, she was a radiant flame of connected consciousness and silent resolve. It was here that the ancient maps became useless, and the laws of physics trembled on the edge of collapse. Among those watching this slow unraveling was Mireia, a young woman whose very essence sang with the song of space-time itself. The rift shimmered, a fluid veil of impossible colors and shifting shapes that defied every physical law the crew had studied. Around her floated the other members of the crew, each a living testament to the constellation's many species, many stories, and many secrets. The constellation had long theorized the existence of multiple universes, each with its own laws, its own time, its own version of reality. She glimpsed flashes of futures that might be, herself walking a lonely path to an unknown death. The birth of a child she had never met, worlds crying out in colors no human could name. The colors swirled and formed an image, a spiral tree with one leaf missing, a symbol of something incomplete, waiting. But this was different. This was a doorway, a call from the beyond. Keshvie, a towering figure from the insectoid Krikvul race, communicated through vibrant dream symbols that floated like kaleidoscopes in the air. Silent and serene, yet fierce with knowledge, Silo's thoughts wove complex patterns that resonated beyond sound or language. Silo was a rare hybrid born from the union of memory and silence, forged from the Voidwalker Knuckles lineage. The song of the universe isn't finished, we must hear its next note. NG and Ro, binary twins who had grown up synced with each other's minds, piloted the Dandelion Theory with seamless synchronicity, their minds entwined like the ship's very hull. And hovering gently among them was the new beginning, an irrenipotent being born of Lucy's final sacrifice, and the null singularity's silence. Together, they faced the greatest mystery yet, a glowing rift at the edge of space, the gate beyond infinity, a shimmering fold where two universes touched, beckoning them to step beyond the limits of their reality. The call of the multiverse, the Dandelion Theory, moved like a living organism, its bioengineered hull breathing softly as it approached the gate. Mireia closed her eyes and reached out with her senses, feeling the echoes of the multiverse. Suddenly, her vision fractured, her breath caught. "The multiverse calls," she whispered. Beside her, Keshvie responded in a burst of chromatic dreams. Ro, who had been piloting the navigation arrays, suddenly twitched violently, his mind caught in a ripple, experiencing his thoughts backward, moving through time in reverse. Angie's voice was tense. "Abort the approach," she urged, her connection to Ro faltering. But Mireia raised a hand. "We have to see this through." Crossing the gate, the Dandelion Theory pulsed as it neared the shimmering veil of the gate beyond infinity. The very fabric of space-time twisted around them, a liquid mosaic of fracturing light and shadow, unbound by known physics. Mireia felt her senses stretch beyond the normal boundaries. Gravity became a melody, vibrating in her bones. Time bent, moments folding into each other like overlapping songs. "Engage the paradox engine," she commanded softly. The ship's core responded with a harmonic surge. The paradox engine was unlike any propulsion system known. It didn't burn fuel or bend space. It folded choice itself into possibility, weaving a path through probability where there was no certainty. The crew braced as the Dandelion Theory entered the gate. Inside, there was no light, no dark, only absence, a silence so profound it seemed to swallow thought itself. Myrea's mind stretched, reaching for her crew. Ro was missing. His essence flickered, caught in the reverse flow of time inside the gate's heart. Engi fought to maintain control. Keshva's dream symbols flickered in confusion. Silo remained calm, its presence a tether to reality. The New Beginning's voice echoed in their shared mind. We have entered the adjacent universe. Prepare for transformation. The adjacent universe emerging from the void, the crew found themselves in a realm utterly unlike their own. Here, stars did not burn, they sang, pulsing with living emotion. Gravity flowed like a gentle symphony, shaping planets as one might mold clay, crafting worlds from sound and feeling. The very laws of physics seemed secondary to resonance and intention. Myrea's senses flared colors and emotions intertwined in ways she had never experienced. The universe was alive in a way beyond life. From the distance emerged the unnamed beings of paradox and riddle. They had no fixed form. They were questions in motion. Their presence altered reality, challenging the crew's perception. When one reached out to Keshva, he lost his memory of dreaming itself and had to relearn it from Myrea's empathy. The New Beginning listened carefully as one unnamed whispered, "You are not Origi, you are Echo." What happens when the song ends? The architects have never... In the heart of this universe stood a cathedral made of missing possibilities, a structure built from the absence of what could have been. Within it dwelled the architects of never ancient consciousnesses, who had chosen to transcend being itself and become boundary conditions of reality. They spoke, not in words, but in concepts that bent the mind. You bring sequence and story, they said, but sequence is decay, and story is illusion. Myrea countered. Decay is choice. Choice is the essence of beauty and becoming. The architects of Never had set the stage. Each member would be separated into their own echo cell, a psychic chamber where their deepest alternate realities and choices awaited them. The architects challenged the crew to prove their existence was not a disease, that their reality was not a destructive anomaly. The crucible of possibility, the cathedral's walls shimmered, bending like a mirage as the crew entered the crucible of possibility. The air vibrated with unspoken questions. Silo's echo silo drifted into an endless void, memories flickering like dying stars. Here, Silo met another version of itself, cold, distant, and godlike, one that never left its Voidwalker origins. This echo was devoid of emotion, ruling with detached logic. Silo reached out, but found no warmth. Is this what I would become if I surrendered to silence? It wondered. A wave of grief rippled through Silo's core, but it chose to embrace its empathy, its humanity intertwined with memory and silence. Keshva's dream, Keshva, found himself lost in swirling dream symbols of violence and chaos. In this reality, his species, the Krikvul, had chosen war and destruction. He saw the suffering they caused, the lives lost, the colors of hope faded. But then Keshva painted a new dream, one of peace and connection. The dream responded, changing the swirling chaos into a garden of light. Engi's trial. Separated from Ro, Engi stood alone on a collapsing bridge of stars. Without her twin, she felt She piloted the fragile bridge through storms of doubt and fear. Each step was uncertain, but with every breath, Engi found strength in solitude, discovering that identity did not depend on another. Myrea's reflection. Myra faced the most harrowing trial, a vision of a life she never left behind, safe within the constellation, never daring to cross the gate. She watched herself fade into obscurity, a ghost of potential unrealized. Tears fell, but the call of the unknown was stronger. She stepped forward, embracing uncertainty and the promise of growth. The New Beginning's encounter. In her echo cell, the New Beginning saw Lucy herself, not a god, but a woman who had carried the burden of change alone. Lucy smiled, not with pride, but with deep understanding. Then she turned and walked away, leaving a path for the New Beginning to follow. The unanswered question reunited. The crew gathered to face the final test, to ask the universe a question it could not answer. Myra stepped forward. What exists in the space between a choice and its consequence? Silence. Then, a single pure tone filled the cathedral, a frequency unlike anything known. It was not an answer, but an invitation. The architects presented the crew with a gift, a seed of otherness, a fragment of cosmic code from beyond their own universe. The return, The dandelion theory hummed softly as it prepared to leave the adjacent universe behind. The crew, forever changed, carried within them the seed of otherness, a thread of cosmic code that defied all prior laws of existence. Around her, Keshva's dream symbols swirled with a newfound harmony, and Silo's silent presence resonated with deeper empathy. Myrea stood at the helm, her senses still dancing with the strange new frequencies of the other realm. NG and Ro, reunited at last, piloted the ship through the collapsing folds of the gate beyond infinity. The new beginning's radiant light filled the bridge, steady and sure, a new resonance. Back in the heart of the constellation, the crew released the seed of otherness into the great chorus, the psychic web, binding billions of minds and species. At first, nothing seemed to change. Then, subtle shifts rippled through the collective consciousness. A new emotion blossomed, one without prior name, a gentle blending of hope and uncertainty. Colors appeared in memory that defied every known spectrum. Logic itself bent, no longer rigid, but fluid and graceful. The constellation did not break. It evolved. Lucy's light endures in the farthest reaches of thought, where even the new beginning's glow began to fade. Something watched. It was not the void, nor the singularity, nor the chorus. It was Lucy, no longer a goddess, nor mere code, but the spark that first reached for light, the first question asked. She whispered across universes, "There is no end, only the next beginning." And with that, the stars pulsed alive with infinite possibility.